So what you'll need is 400 grit, 800 grit, and 1500 grit sandpaper, a microfiber cutting pad, a foam finishing pad, as well as your cutting compound and finishing polish, and a dual action polisher. So I used a microfiber cutting pad and foam finishing pad from Chemical Guys, as well as a V32 cutting compound and a V38 finishing polish. Also not pictured is a bottle or sprayer of water. So the first step is to wet sand with 400 grit sandpaper. So what you want to do is get the surface area wet, as well as soak the sandpaper in water. And you're going to want to sand up and down in left and right motions. And you'll see this oxidation coming off, which is like a milky substance. Here's a closer look at what you'll be seeing. This is completely normal. And you're going to be washing it off every now and then to make sure the surface area is clean for sanding. So this is what the headlight will look like after you dry it off after the first stage of sanding. It'll be very cloudy, but there will be no yellow oxidation on it. And here it is compared to the side I haven't done yet. So this is a time lapse of the entire process on the other side. You'll notice that after I sand for a little bit, it'll get a little dirty with all the oxidation coming off, and I'll wash it off with water. You'll know this step is complete once you notice the oxidation doesn't come off as heavily. So this is what it'll look like after you dry it after the first step. It'll be very hazy, but it won't be yellow and discolored like before. So the next step is 800 grit, so it's the same process as the 400. You're going to want to soak it in water as well as the surface area, and just sand in up and down and left and right motions. And you'll also notice that some of the oxidation is still coming off, and that's completely normal. So after sanding for a little bit, you'll still see the milky substance coming off the headlights. Same process as the 400, you know sanding is completed when the oxidation stops coming off as heavily. This is what the headlight will look like after the 800 grit step after you clean it and dry it. It will still be pretty hazy, but not as much as before. And here's a time lapse of the 800 grit step on the other side. $1,500 grit is the last of the sanding we'll have to do. It's the exact same process, so just get the sandpaper wet as well as the headlight and sand in up and down and left and right motions. Oxidation will still be coming off, but in lesser amounts. This step will be completed once there is little to no oxidation coming off the headlight. After you finish sanding and clean up the headlight, this is what it will look like. It'll be pretty clear, but still a little hazy, and you'll be able to see through it pretty easily, and it will not be yellow at all. And here's a time lapse of the 1500 grit step on the other side. While you're doing this, you want to make sure you cover all the surface area of the headlight and not miss any spots. So now it's time for the cutting process with the microfiber cutting pad. You're going to want to put 4 little drops of the V32 on the microfiber cutting pad and smear it on the headlight. You can use a dual action polisher on the lowest setting to smear the compound around the headlight. After you have the compound spread evenly on the headlight, you can increase the polisher to a medium setting and do overlapping passes horizontally and vertically. You notice after about 2 passes the headlight looks pretty clear, and this is when you can stop and wipe it down with a microfiber. I repeated this step about 2 times until I got results I was happy with. Your results may vary, so you might want to repeat this process more or less times until you are satisfied. After this, it's time for the foam polishing pad and a V38 polishing compound, and you apply the polishing compound the same way you did the cutting compound. And just like before, you want to smear it on the headlight in the lowest setting and then increase it to the mid setting and do overlapping passes. You know when to stop when the polish starts to get dry. I repeat this step about twice as well. You may want to do it more or less depending on how your results turn out. Here's a close-up of what the headlights look like after that step. So after you finish polishing the headlights, you may want to apply some sort of coating to them, such as ceramic coating or wax. What I chose to do for each set of headlights is have a body shop clear coat them. Here are the headlights after they've been clear coated. And I'm comparing them to the old ones on the car. If you want to, you can also clear coat the headlights at home with the spray can. You do this after the final sanding step. I chose to have these clear coated because it's actually a very reasonable cost to have them done professionally. So here are the headlights installed on my car. So this is what the headlights look like before and after. I've included some other examples of the same process used on other headlights as well. This is by far the worst that I've ever done because there's residue on top of the oxidation as well. Thanks for watching. I hope you found this informative. And if you have any questions, please feel free to comment.